Yes, we've built a successful laser engraving business, but we've made a lot of mistakes along the way. So today we want to talk to you about 5 of the biggest to avoid when you're starting your laser engraving business. Hi, I'm Rayanne.
And I'm Dwayne.
And we're the owners of Engraving. We've been in the engraving business for the last 10 plus years and using a laser engraver for the last 6. We've grown a really successful business, but boy, have we made a lot of mistakes and most times suffered needlessly. So today we want to share with you some tips to help you avoid those mistakes and get going with your laser engraving business. Mistake number 1, choosing the wrong laser engraving machine. When you go with a lower quality laser engraver, so you want to really look into the lasers that you're buying, research. When we started looking into lasers, we almost purchased a few that we were thinking, okay, so we didn't want to make it too large of an investment because we were thinking in the moment, we wanted to get going with laser engraving. So there were a few options that I'm really happy that we didn't go with. A lot of times people will start it with a smaller laser, not thinking it's enclosed, not really looking into the technical support side of it, because once you get that laser, it's not always just a turnkey and you're ready to engrave. It might come faulty, it could come broken, it could come with a little bit something damaged that needs to be replaced. Then you have to kind of be the technician and learn how to replace it yourself if you can even get the part. We ultimately went with AP Lazer. When you go and you choose AP Lazer, they don't just sell you machine, they are selling you fountain of information. You get the best technical support. It's 24 hours, but choosing the wrong laser machine, that is a big mistake that a lot of people make. They go on the lower end of it for cost-wise, but you really do get what you pay for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I think we're on the number 2.
Yes, so this one is a big one, and I don't think it's something that you're going to hear a lot of other people saying, but it's something that is true because we've lived it. Some items that you do are going to be really small. Obviously, you're not going to supply mock-ups for everything. But when we're talking larger memorials, when we're talking plaques, awards, things that you're not just taking, you're not just copying and pasting and putting words in, you're actually having to input your own. Supplying a customer with a mock-up before you complete any engraving is essential.
More especially when you're into the memorial business too. Like if you're going to be doing a big plaque that ultimately costs you a lot of money, you're selling that to the customer, and if you're not supplying a mock-up and there's a spelling mistake, the dates are wrong, I've done all of it, and I learned a lesson that I need to start supplying mock-ups to customers. And I think we learned it from both ends. Rayanne does it faithfully now for all her customers. I do it as well. I like to use Lightburn to do my mock-ups because that's what we use. We just, I hit the preview button, the little TV button. I'll take that, I'll save that file, I'll send it to the customer with a simulated photo from Corel Paint, which is where I would do my editing. Corel Paint and then Photograph, sorry. So the simulation will just show the customer of how that photo is going to look. You don't want to mislead a customer and give them a super high quality thing and say, this is the way that this is going to look. The beautiful thing with the software with Photograph is that you can supply that simulation to the customer, and as long as you use the right settings on your machine, you will make that portrait, that picture, exactly like that simulation. Sending that mock-up to a customer to not cost you money in the end.
Yeah. We actually have a large memorial that we just kept for display in our shop. This happened a few years ago now. So as you can imagine, memorials are the more expensive things that we would sell in our shop. We completed this memorial. We actually did send a mock-up. And sometimes, it's good to get a few eyes on a mock-up because someone that's creating it, they're looking at it for so long, things start to jumble together. A customer looking at the mock-up, it's an emotional thing for them to see their loved ones in a plaque. So it was missed on both ends. We finished the full engraving on this big marble plaque. Dwayne color filled it, he buffed it out, he polished it, and then we decided we'll take a picture and send it to the customer. And as I was looking at it, something didn't look right to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it until we realized in loving memory was spelled in loving memory. So it's things like small mistake that can't be fixed that cost us a lot of money. So memorials especially, but for anything that is more costly or takes a lot of time for you to do, always supply your customer with a mock-up. So on to number 3, testing your material before you complete your big project.
There's so many different materials that you're going to be engraving on. There's things that you're going to mess up, whether it's a piece of slate or something like that. Don't just throw that away. Like, keep that, because if you're going to engrave a bigger slate down the road, it just gives you the ability to take that piece of slate that you may have ruined, but don't throw it away, because you can retest things. So if you're going to do a photo, just, do a test engrave. If you're going to engrave on leather, there might have been something that you messed up, or just something that came in that might have been broken that you got a credit on or something. Just keep it, because you don't know what you might use it for. If you're going to do a big project, you don't want to mess it up. Try to start small and use what you have. Just don't throw it away. Just test it. Just run your tests and make sure that you really dial in those settings.
Yeah. Another thing is to, in Lightburn, there's the option, we've showed it in past videos, where we'll set our fill settings, that'll be black. We'll set our cut settings, it's red. You can save that in all your settings for Lightburn, so you can save, just click on that color, it's cut, click on another color, it's line, etc., etc. And notes, get a little book and write down your settings. That's how we started, and adjust as you go. But testing your materials before is always a smart thing to do, is instead of just jumping into a big project. We've wasted a lot of stuff over the years for that, and now
we don't want you to make any mistakes.
It's a way for you now to be able to okay, I'll test my material before I jump into it. Even if the manual says this is settings for this, isn't always the case. Every laser is different.
Don't just assume, just test.
Yes. So, number 4, correct pricing and knowing your worth. When you start out, you don't always know your value, especially your time, and we've undercut ourselves for years. I feel now into our 6th year of having our store, our laser engraver, we're finally getting to that sweet point where we know exactly how much something costs us. Correct pricing, know your market, adjust to the supply and demand. We know right now we're in very uncertain times. A lot of us had to find new suppliers. Currencies are changing. It's just how things are right now. So obviously our goal is to always provide quality products, but we like to keep costs as low as we can for ourselves so we can then pass that on to our customer. But you really need to do your research for what the markets are. If you're selling something, you can always look it up on Etsy or places like that, just to look to make sure you're not undercutting yourself. And keep in mind that if you're looking at Etsy, also look at the shipping costs to know what your local market would pay for something like that from you versus Etsy, because shipping is always something that most people have to take into account when they're ordering online instead of shopping local. And if you're local and you can supply what someone from Etsy can without the shipping, it's a no-brainer. They're going to come to you first.
Definitely. And just be consistent on your pricing too. If you're up and down on your pricing, and if you're low and then all of a sudden you think that I need to go way higher, like that, just don't put any value on your product, and it don't keep anything consistent. So just make sure that you stay consistent, that you do your research, and that you put the time and effort into it, because if you do all those things, you'll be good on your pricing and you'll get what you're really worth.
Mm-hmm. And your time is valuable. So don't forget that. So on to number 5. Don't limit your product offerings, but also don't try to do everything at once either. You want to focus on what you do well, what you enjoy doing, and what the majority of your customers are looking for. Because sometimes, and we've done this too, someone will come in with a off-the-wall request, and we're like, yeah, we can do that, but that doesn't mean you always should. Sometimes we've had requests going back to a skate box that we did. We bought plexiglass to make this. Dwayne spent so many hours trying to put this together. It turned out really nice in the end, but for the price of what we could charge for it, it maybe covered the material costs, but it didn't cover our time and the usage of our equipment. So focus on what you're good at, find your niche is what I guess I'm trying to say, and do that and perfect it and then move on to the next thing. But when you try to do everything at once and you try to complete or fulfill everybody's request, you're going to find yourself wasting a lot of time and losing your mind.
Yeah, most definitely. And just too many products is not good either, because we tried that. We used to have like thousands, I feel, of products, and like now we've got core products where we know what our customers want, and a lot of that is just trial and error on our own part. So what customers want on our end in our community and our online store is not necessarily for yours. So it's just fun in that niche market your own self, and just really focusing on things that's gonna make you money and that don't limit your product offerings.
Yeah, and going back to like, if you actually really don't enjoy doing it,
Absolutely.
then don't.
No. And we love what we do every day, so I think that's what makes the best of what we...
Yes, we really do enjoy it, and there are things that we just can't wait to come again, and we know it's coming back, and then there are other things that, okay, you know what, every time this comes around, I'm dreading for it, and I don't enjoy doing it, and if it's not worth it money-wise, time-wise, your sanity-wise, then it's just not worth offering. Because you can do so many things or you can do everything, it doesn't mean
It's always wise to do so.
Yeah, exactly. So just be mindful of the things you're creating, what your customers want, what you want to create, and make sure you're still enjoying it. So I think
I think that wraps it up.
yep. I'm sure there are a lot more mistakes that we could talk about, but we'll do that at another time. So if you guys like this video, subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to check out a laser engraver that would really amp your business up, we do have an affiliate link on our page to AP Lazer. You can check that out. It's no extra cost to you, but it does help us fund this channel. And we'll be back weekly with new content and tips on how to grow your business and master your craft.